as your family, their names, what they're doing, my name, my background. I'm not saying I've done some things that I'm not proud of. I got a small criminal history. I used shoplifting. I had a DUI back in the 80s. You know, I wrote some bad checks, not forgery, on my own account to support my drugs. And so, but they take all this in the federal system. So the PSI came back and they said 87 to 104 months. They finally said, okay, you went in there and purchased that $100 minus 20, and you gave it to the CI, and he gave it over to us. But the day we raided, we're going to put that on you too. And so I'm like, wow. So my PSI came back and they said 87 to 104 months. The government's mad. So the government says, you know, he had a DUI back in the 80s, he had this shoplifting here, he had this, and I don't know if you ever watched court sometime, and somebody may get charged with a crime in the federal system, but they get a harsh sentence. Like, man, that's kind of harsh for that one conviction. See, in the federal system, they take all of your criminal history and attach a point to it. So my DUI from back in '86 counted for a couple of points. Me having a shoplifting charge in the mid-90s counted for another. And so the thing of it is that the government was trying to make me a menace to society. And they said, no, we don't want that. We want to resubmit a PSI report. So now my second PSI report came out, and it said between 132 and 164 months. I'm like, wow. See, the thing about the federal government is this here. The law binds the charge. In the state system, a municipal system, a judge could say, I sentence you to 4 years. And then the next voice says, but I suspend it and give you probation. See, in the state, in the municipal system, the judge still has power and authority. Still has it. So I go for my hearing, and there I was. And the judge says, Mr. Barbie, he says, the law requires me to sentence you. And he said, based upon you, and you have finally admitted to your role in this thing, of you going in there and making that purchase and coming out, he says, the law requires me to sentence you. And so on August 29th of 2009, I got sentenced to 70 months in federal prison for a $100 purchase. A couple of pairs of Jordans used. Now I'm a felon. And so at that time, there's 150 federal prisons in the United States. Did you know that? There's 150. Most times in Kansas, everybody thinks about Leavenworth. Oh, you're going to go to Leavenworth. So I got sentenced to 70 months. And then once I got sentenced, they sent my case down to Prairie View, Grand Prairie, Texas. That's where they designate you. So what they do is they take your case, they look at your charge, they look at your sentence, and then they begin to put points to it. So I was African American, that was 2 points. I was educated, that was another point. My charge, distribution or controlled sales, another point. And so what happens is your case goes down there, and Texas tells the system where you need to be sent to. You don't get to choose. The judge can't say, you know what, let's allow him to go to Leavenworth because it'll be close to family. No. The only thing that the BOP does, it will get you as close to 500 miles to your home. We'll do our best. So one night they called me and said, Barbie, pack it up, you're shipping out. So I left Leavenworth, handcuffed, shackled. We drove to Chicago all night. Downtown Chicago, because I lived there for 13 years, there's this tall building. If you didn't know it, you thought it was a high-rise apartment, but if you look, they got the slender windows like this here. And what it is a federal detention center downtown Chicago. It was interesting because I used to work right around the corner, and now here I am coming in there as a federal inmate. So we pull in there, And all of a sudden, as we pulled in there, my life literally changed. I used to work around the corner from this building, and now I'm a federal inmate going into this building. As I went in there, I had a 70-month sentence, and I'm like, wow, now what? If you could imagine being on the floor with another 120 individuals and only 6 toilets, that's where I had to stay for 5 days. So I left there, and my first place of imprisonment was Pekin, Illinois. One thing about federal prisons, and you can check it out, federal prisons set by 3 locations here in the United States. A federal prison usually sits by a major airport. A federal prison sits by a military base. A federal prison sits by a major highway. Go check it out for yourself.